What's up, Magic Makers? Drew here, and today I want to share with you a few of the herbs that we carry in the shop. So presently, I think we have more than a dozen, honestly, I don't know, herbs in the shop. And when I say herbs, I basically mean plant material. Not all of the things that I categorize as herbs in our shop are technically herbs, but they are plant-based, plant material spell components. So we have probably, I don't know, a dozen or more, and that could very well fluctuate between less and more as time goes on. The herbs that we carry are herbs that we feel are either staples or that we just personally have a great affinity for. So that's a big contributing factor as to why we might choose to carry more in the shop than what we currently have. So some of the plant material herbs, throughout the video, if I refer to it as herbs, understand that I mean plant material. So flowers, wood, nuts, seeds, I mean whatever it is, herbs. Some of the herbs that we sell are things that we grow ourselves, while others, a couple of them, we actually locally harvest them, kind of wildcrafted. A good number of the herbs that we sell are actually outsourced, but regardless of where they come from, all of our herbs are 100% organic and they are ethically sourced. So we have a little disclaimer with our herbs. It is both on the site itself under the listings, as well as we send out a little disclaimer with every order that has herbs in it. And essentially, it's saying that our herbs are not food grade, that our intention when selling them is that they be used for magical purposes as components in spell work and what have you, oils, whatever. And, some things may be toxic, as well as you can never tell what kind of reaction any individual might have to something. We all have our own things that we're sensitive and possibly allergic to. So we have our little warnings and disclaimers with regards to those things. I actually use many of our herbs in tea blends, but I'm doing that at my own risk. I know that they're organic and whatever, but I don't want to assume that responsibility for my customers, if I'm honest. So we specifically say not to ingest them. They are not food grade. They are for magic purposes only. And whatever the customer does with them, the customer does with them. And that's sort of their responsibility from that. Once you have it in your hot little hands, it's your responsibility at that point. This is the type of packaging that you can expect to receive when ordering our herbs. It is a wax paper bag. We try to avoid plastic whenever possible. And there is a little label, just a little parchment that has our name and the name of whatever the plant material is, as well as the weight, how many ounces it is, or some of the things you can actually get a pound or a half pound, maybe a half pound. But either way, the weight is on the packet, on the label, as well as some of the properties of the plant material, the herbs that you've purchased. For the purposes of this video, I am going to go over some of the properties of the herbs that I have selected to talk about today. I know that most of you are probably familiar with them, but because most of us can't remember everything all the time, I thought it would be nice to just quickly talk about a few of the properties for each of the herbs. I'm going to switch your view so that you can get a closer look at what it is that we have and we offer. I've selected 5 of our herbs to talk about today, so obviously I'll be making more videos like this for the others in the future. And without further ado, let's just look at some pretty plant material. So first we have these beautiful blue corn flowers. Now I like to have a few pretty flowery things in the shop. For me, not only are they wonderful to work with for their properties, but if it can make what I'm doing that much more vibrant or beautiful, especially like oils or incense blends or what have you, that brings me immense joy. So I fell in love with these little blue corn flowers and just had to get them in the shop. So some of the properties of blue corn flowers are psychic development, love, protection, fertility, luck, abundance, and lust. So it's a pretty versatile little thing. And again, really beautiful. I love them so much. Just to give you a little closer look, you will see that some of them are a yellowy white, maybe a little bleached, but the vast majority of them are a very deep, almost purple blue color. Indigo. Next is wormwood. I have personally enjoyed working with wormwood for a long time, so when I was choosing herbs to start to fill the shop with, it was high up on my list. Wormwood is great for protection, purification, psychic development, visions, dreams, love, spirit contact, and evocation, as well as all manner of defensive magic. So like binding, banishing, that sort of thing. It's a very woody herb. There is, bits of plant material as well, but again, very versatile and great for, to me, it's like an herb that corresponds to the darker half of the year, if that makes sense. Like it's a darker herb. And I don't mean anything negative when I say that. It's beautiful. Next is mint, a more sort of average one, if you will, but still a wonderful, wonderful herb to work with. Of course, it's great for money and prosperity, healing, exorcism, lust, travel, protection, and I happen to personally love mint for the purpose of offerings, and I have always sort of intuitively associated it with that purpose above all others. So anytime I'm making up an offering blend, particularly when it comes to spirits of the land or nature or what have you, I'm always going to have some mint in there. And of course, when you crush it up, it smells amazing. But I'm sure you're all familiar with mint. We do sell our mint in whole leaf form like this and allow you to break it up yourself. There's a couple herbs that we personally grow that I prefer this method when working with them because they hold their fragrance longer when you leave them in whole leaf form. Here we have some white willow bark. Now, I adore white willow bark, and I can't even tell you exactly why. It's the energy of it. It feels so good. I just really love it. And it was really high up on my list when we started putting herbs in the shop. Obviously, white willow bark is a wood. It is great for love, protection, divination, healing, spirit contact, as well as it has this wonderful property of deflecting disharmonious energies and intent. So anything that is ill intent or just isn't good, doesn't resonate and doesn't belong, it can help deflect that energy, intention, what have you. Even I think can be used for that purpose in spells with other correspondences aimed at people. It's also associated with the goddess death in the underworld. So another one of those herbs that sort of corresponds to the darker half of the year, but the energy is so very different than wormwood. Wormwood has that sort of darker energy, if you will, heavier maybe. I don't know how to explain it. This to me, white willow bark very much reminds me of Angelica in its energy. It's just really, it's a really high, bright energy. I love it. And last but not least for today is rosemary. Come on, talk about a staple herb in a magical practice. Rosemary is one of the absolute most versatile herbs that we can choose to work with. It can quite literally be substituted for just about any other herb in a pinch. I'm sure you're all well aware, but rosemary is great for protection, love, lust, sleep, strength, banishing, blessings, exorcism, purification, healing, moon magic, sea magic, courage, dream work, and so much more. It is just one of the best herbs to have on hand, particularly if you're in a situation where you're not going to have a lot of herbs around. You're not a huge collector of them, or you don't have the space, or you're in the closet, or what have you. And of course, it's relatively easy to get your hands on. We sell it in, I think we sell it in half pound. Maybe it's quarter pound, half pound. I don't remember. Honestly, we sell it in big bunches and relatively inexpensively because
we grow it ourselves and it's easy to come by.
So there you have it. Those are 5 of the herbs that we sell in the shop. And again, we have quite a few more. I believe it's more than a dozen between resins, woods, and actual herbs, which of course I will talk about in the future. Thank you, as always, for hanging out and checking out the things that we like to carry and that we make and sell in our shop. And until next time, much love and gratitude.